Hey guys, it's Dr. Justin Marcagiani here. Today's video is going to be on how much protein do you need. We'll go into protein. What is it? What are its benefits? What are its uses? And how much do you probably need? We'll talk about that. We'll dive in. Before we do, make sure you smash that like button. Really appreciate it. Put your comments down below. Let me know how much protein you feel good with on average. Really curious. And if you want to reach out to myself, click down below as well. You can schedule a consult with myself and staff down below. All right, so protein. What is protein? Proteins are nothing more. Imagine you have a necklace. That necklace is called protein. The individual pearls on that necklace are amino acids. And you have about 8 to 9 essential amino acids. These are amino acids your body cannot make. Really interesting to note. You have essential amino acids your body can't make. We have essential fatty acids your body can't make. We have no such thing as an essential carbohydrate. Keep that in mind. So proteins are very, very important because they form the building block of a lot of your neurotransmitters. They're building blocks of your muscles. They're building blocks for some of your hormones they're peptide-based, non-cholesterol, but peptide-based hormones. Very, very important. So we need amino acids. We make beta endorphin, which is our natural opiates in our body to help with pain, come from 19 different amino acids. Serotonin, dopamine, GABA, all of these things come from amino acids that help us with mood and focus and cognitive. And then, of course, most protein in nature, especially if you're doing high-quality, complete protein, you're going to get it from an animal product. So you're going to get really good fats coming with protein, typically really good fats, omega-3s, and cholesterol, which are really important building blocks for your brain and for your other cholesterol-based hormones. So typically, when you're getting protein, you're getting a package of amino acids, you're getting essential amino acids, and you're also going to be getting other fatty acids and cholesterol, just typically with it, unless you're really doing a lot of plant-based protein. That may be the case. So really important, protein is going to help with muscle, right? Muscle mass is really important. That's how you move. It's how you function. It's going to help with cognitive ability. Now, your best source of protein will always be high-quality animal products because you're getting complete, full-spectrum, essential amino acids. When you have a lot of plant-based amino acids, you're typically missing methionine and lysine and a lot of those sulfur-rich aminos when you're doing plant-based. And a lot of times you have to combine them to get the harmony. Okay, so like rice and legumes or rice and lentils, you have to usually combine. Or unless you're doing like a pea protein, like a concentrated amino acid formula, like a rice protein or a pea protein, then you can get it that way, or hemp. But typically, if we're just talking about what's available in nature, forget the protein powders, right? It's going to be usually some kind of a lentil, some kind of a rice, and usually there's a combination kind of thing because you just don't quite get, Mother Nature doesn't quite package in a condensed manner high-quality amino acids from plant-based products. And not to mention, when you look at the bioavailability of plant-based amino acids, they're just not there. You have a lot of fiber and anti-nutrients and phytates and oxalates and trypsin, which are trypsin inhibitors, which are like proteolytic enzyme inhibitors. So it makes it harder to really get your protein up from plant products. It's possible, but when you do it, you got to consume a ton of carbohydrate with it. So your typical, rice and beans kind of combo is usually maybe about 15 grams of protein per 60 to 70 grams of carbohydrate. So you get a lot of carbs. And so most of the population is more insulin resistant. So it's a lot of carbs for most people to be able to handle. So animal products are going to be the best way because you get a pure amount of protein, meaning you're getting the essential amino acids, all 8 to 9 of them, and you're not getting all the carbohydrates with it. And a lot of times you're getting good high quality fat soluble vitamins A, D, E, K, and then you're also getting some cholesterol, which is really important for your hormone building blocks. So really good to think about. So the thing with amino acids from protein, think about, let's say I'll give you for instance on kale, right? You need to have 16 cups of kale then to get the amount of protein that you could get from 8 ounces of grass-fed beef. Like it wouldn't be that hard to do like an 8-ounce filet at a restaurant, right? Well, you'd have to do 16 cups of kale to compete with the same amount of protein. And that's not even including the bioavailability aspect of the kale. And it's probably not even including the complete amino acid blend, meaning you'll be missing amino acids in that kale that you would be getting in like high quality grass-fed beef. So it's just not practical. So people talk about nutrient density. Well, what's more practical, 16 cups of kale or 8 ounces of a grass-fed filet? Well, I think it's pretty obvious, right? And it's more practical. And so nutrient density, you're always going to get more nutrient density in animal products, all right? And animal products will concentrate plant matter. If you're choosing healthy animal products, they're going to be eating plants a lot of times. And they'll be bioaccumulating that plant matter and nutrition in that animal meat. So if it's muscle meat, ideally, we want fatter cuts. We want to eat the skin. If you can do any of the organs or you can do any bone broth with that, that's even better. Now, how much protein do you need? I think a pretty good rule of thumb is about 0.5 gram per pound of body weight to 1 gram per pound of body weight. If you're exercising, you're an athlete, you look at guys in the NFL, they're probably doing maybe 1.5 grams per pound of body, maybe 2 if you have to have a lot of muscle mass on. It's really, really tough to keep that kind of body weight and not eat well over 1 gram. I know Arnold Schwarzenegger's kind of rule of thumb for him when he was bodybuilding was about 1 gram per pound of body weight. He would eat a dozen eggs every single day. And so it makes it a lot easier when you're getting about 1 gram per pound of body weight to keep that muscle on. But if you're kind of sedentary, about 0.5 gram. Some of the research studies show, like elderly folk, for instance, they need about 1.2 grams per kilogram of body weight. And so I think a kilogram is what? 2.2 pounds. And they're saying 1.2 grams per kilogram. So I think that's a pretty good rule of thumb at about 0.5, 0.6 grams per pound if we're doing that 1.2 to 2.2 kilogram ratio. So that's what kind of literature is saying, that a lot of elderly folk, they're just not getting enough protein. So at least that half, that 0.5 to 0.6 grams per protein is a pretty good rule of thumb. Now, how many grams are typically in an animal product? So if you're looking at like about 1 gram of animal protein, let's say fish or beef, you're looking at about 5 to 7 grams of protein. Okay, so usually, let's say if you're a female, you're around, let's say 130, 140 pounds. Let's say you want 70 to 100 grams of protein. Okay, so if you're doing about 4 to 6 ounces of protein per meal, you'll probably get there no problem. It's about a palm to a fist will probably be about that, right? 4 ounces times 6 grams of protein on average, that's 24 grams of protein, 25-ish. That puts you around 75 grams of protein, and that puts you right around the minimum. So I'd say about a palm or so, about 4 ounces of protein is probably adequate. For someone like myself, probably 6 to 8 grams of protein. I'm about 210 to 220 pounds. I'm 6'2", though. Depending on how much I'm lifting, I'll do 6 to 8 ounces per protein per gram. And then, of course, always try to choose protein that's full fat. I mean, you can get, like, where you see protein toxicity issues, you see them. You ever watch the show, what's it called, Life Below Zero on Discovery Channel? They talk about protein toxicity, and that's because you can't get enough calories when you're shooting, let's say, a lean deer or a rabbit, right? The protein is so lean, you need some essential fatty acids to be able to help absorb and process all of those amino acids. So if you're only consuming ultra lean animals, in a far northern environment where animals lose all their fat because it's so cold and they need it for energy, they'll burn it at some point during the season, you may have some deficiencies in fatty acids, and that's where protein can be a toxicity issue when it's ultra lean. So if you're choosing protein from high quality animal sources with good fats with it, your issue of having protein toxicity is going to be incredibly low. You need the fatty acids to be able to process the amino acids. And the only other place where your protein can be a problem is if you already have kidney disease. So your kidneys are a filter, and protein is never it's not like it's amino acid that's wrapped in barbed wire running through your glomeruli. It's not going to hurt your kidneys. The thing that actually hurts your kidneys the most is high levels of glucose. So if you just go online, type in diabetes and kidney transplants, you'll find that about 80% of all kidney transplants go to diabetic patients. That tells you something. It tells you that the blood sugar and the advanced glycation end products that are produced by these sugars coating proteins in your body creates lots of AGEs, these advanced glycation end products, and they can create lots of oxidative damage and stress to cells. So when you have lots of glucose flowing through your kidneys, that can cause a lot of problems. It's not the amino acids. It really isn't. It's not even the fatty acids. Fat's pretty neutral on your kidneys. Now, when you already have kidney issues or kidney damage, whether it's elevated BUN or creatinine or a very low glomerular filtration rate, you probably have to go lower on your protein. You have to adjust that. You probably have to go more keto and go lower protein and just go higher fat to make up the carbs, because you don't want to do more carbohydrates when you already have kidney issues, because we already know how carbohydrates can cause more oxidative stress to the kidneys when they're already damaged. So that's where you got to kind of you got to adjust the fuel source and go a lot more keto, higher fat, moderate to even very low protein, and then adjust the carbs accordingly. So in general, 1 gram of protein per ounce, sorry, 6 to 7 grams of protein per ounce of animal products. Try to make it higher fats. Kind of adjust your needs accordingly. So for myself, I probably had maybe 150 to 180 grams of protein per day on average. Today, I've only had maybe 50 grams so far. I had a coffee butter, MCT, 25 grams of collagen this morning. I had 4 ounces of grass-fed beef for lunch with some asparagus and tomatoes. I'll have 6 ounces of chicken thighs tonight, and I'll probably make a little maybe collagen smoothie or have some bone broth for dinner, and maybe like a scoop or two of almond butter and some high-quality dark chocolate for dessert. So I'll probably be around 130 today, maybe a little more. And if I go too low on my protein or fat, I'll just have a little more cravings at night, and so I have to adjust my snacks to do maybe some grass-fed, maybe some almond butter and some Granny Smith apple, or I'll do something like with some high-quality dark chocolate, 70 or 80 or 90%, and maybe some other nuts or seeds or some other good protein and fat-based snack to kind of help tide me over. So that kind of gives you a good idea. 0.5 gram per pound of body weight, up to 1 gram is pretty good. If you have to gain because you're an athlete, maybe a little bit higher than that. Make sure you're getting good essential fatty acids with that protein. Don't go overly lean like my example of the guys on light below zero. Protein may be a problem if you already have kidney disease. It's never the protein that causes it. It's the glucose and the oxidative stress. We have to adjust that accordingly. Again, this is Dr. J here. If you want to reach out to myself or my colleagues, click down below. You can get access to me worldwide. If you enjoy this content, give me a thumbs up. Put your comments down below. Really appreciate it, y'all. All right, you guys have a phenomenal day. Talk to you soon.